What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods back with another 2 minute drill, man. Our guy beat up his back from his trip. Man, he had to go over to Hattiesburg. I don't know who wants to go to Hattiesburg for any
I didn't.
reason.
Oh, my sister move.
Hey, so beat up his family first. At least we know that. But guys, go check out our episode from yesterday, man. We cover the circle games of the SWAC. Go check out the episode to find out what that means and which games were picked each week. But we're going to we're going down to Miami. We got another NIL conversation about college football today, and it all stems from Miami quarterback De'Aaron King signing an NIL deal with the Florida Panthers. So this is big because, Brandon, this is the first collegiate athlete to sign a deal with a professional sports team. Apparently, what this involves is that King will come and appear at certain Panther games, develop merchandise for them, concession items, collaborate on social media to engage fan base and bring in more fans. And so this is interesting to say the least. So let's talk about this first. What do you think about the deal? And how big is this for other athletes who play in states with a lot of professional teams?
Yes, I mean, so the face value of this is it's awesome. I mean, it's cool all around because De'Aaron King gets paid for his name, image, and likeness. I mean, just like letter of the law, this is what you're getting paid for here. Like that's what the whole NCAA thing was about. You can say, oh, it was so they could sell jerseys with the players' names on it. You can say it's so that whatever, like players can sell merch. But they are literally using his name, image, and likeness to attract fans to the Florida Panthers game. I want to say the article I read said the Panthers are like the third lowest in the NHL in terms of attendance. So, do whatever you can to do it, and De'Aaron King's going to get paid to do it. He wouldn't agree to do it if he didn't want to. Now, with all that being said, there's always more than surface level to a lot of stories, Zach. And so when you start seeing these college athletes, the amateur athletes sign deals with any professional team, regardless of what sport it is, you kind of have to wonder like when we're going to draw a line with this whole NIL thing. I'll probably get into that a little bit more in just a few minutes. I want you to get your takes off first before I get into that. But at surface level, like just answering your question, this is great all around. This looks good for him, for the Florida Panthers, and hopefully it does improve their attendance because Miami isn't necessarily the biggest hockey city in the country.
I mean, I like it. And I mean, for a school like Miami and a city like Miami, imagine the possibilities because the Marlins are probably one of the lowest attendance MLB teams in the country, and the Dolphins probably don't rank that high in attendance either in the NFL. So, hey, De'Aaron King can leverage this, man, and so can some of these other Hurricane players. And it's funny, Brandon, for me, shout out to Manny Diaz and the administration of Miami because Miami has been on the forefront of so many deals, so many trends that we've seen with NIL. Remember, they were the first team to have an NIL deal where every player of the team benefited from it. They all rationed it out equally across the players. So shout out to them for just being prepared for the moment, Brandon, and making sure that the players are in the best position to succeed. And I like the deal. I mean, nothing could. I mean, as long it's an NHL team, so I mean, there's really no harm in it. What it's going to do is, man, it lets King build his brand from the Panthers brand as well. Because what's going to happen is, what if some of these hockey fans don't watch a lot of football? And what
Yeah.
it does is it's a mutual agreement, and it's going to be mutually beneficial for both parties in this. So listen, shout out to De'Aaron King. He was, I think, the first player to announce his NIL deal at like midnight, like with like zero point 0.3 seconds after, and it was like I already got deals set up. So shout out to De'Aaron King for being right there and I guess jumping on this trend. Now though, Brandon, we got to switch to the other side of the future of NIL in college football. We kind of had an episode about this a few weeks ago, but I want to frame it in context of what De'Aaron King just did. So, one, before we get into like the tampering and things, I don't think that's as big. I don't. For me, that's not as big of a deal. But do you think that what this could do, and we had a comment today on our Quinn Ewers video about this, do you think deals like this and other brand deals can help players stay longer in college?
It might be able to make them stay longer in college. I still think that an NFL contract and because what we are going to see, I think in the next, in the few coming months, years, however long it takes, we're going to see hard boundaries be drawn. This professional team cannot recruit you to the area, basically. Because if he wasn't in Miami, he's not getting this deal. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
if he was still in Houston, who doesn't have a hockey team, he doesn't have a hockey deal. So players might be attracted to that sort of thing and end up gravitating toward cities that have professional sports teams, and that way they can grow relationships with the city. The city grows to love them, which is kind of the case right now, before NIL anyway, but especially now that these teams are actually going to be paying you. But it might convince them to stay in college a little bit more, just to answer your question, but I doubt it. I think we're going to see a lot of players that, are kind of borderline, oh, am I going to go to the NFL? It might make their decision a little bit easier. I'm going to stay in college. Think of a Thaddeus Moss. I'm the LSU guy. So think of Thaddeus Moss, who declared for the draft after his junior season at LSU, who went undrafted and ended up signing, with the Washington football team after, and I think now he signed with the Bengals. And so, maybe he would have stayed in college one more year if he had these brand deals and he was making money. There's endless accounts of this where players leave college probably too early because they think they have a shot in the NFL. And then once, things go south or whatever happens, they're not going to go back to college. You already declared for the NFL draft. So what are you going to do? You're kind of stuck. So that's what I'm saying, man. Maybe, but I doubt it. I don't think this is going to cause a huge sway of players saying, you know what, I was going to be drafted anyway. Let me stay in college because I'm making this, brand deal. Because if you go to the NFL, you're getting a salary and then the brand deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, so I agree, and I wasn't really talking about the first round picks, because of course a Sam Howell isn't going to be swayed by.
I'm thinking about a guy like a fifth, sixth round pick, Zach.
He's absolutely going to be swayed, in my opinion.
I don't think so. I don't,
because those guys barely make the rosters anyway.
Yeah, but Tom Brady was a
what's the salary of a fifth round pick?
I mean, that's up to your agent. You're still getting more of a salary than you get in college, and then you get the brand deals. Okay, so take this into account, Zach. If you're getting drafted in the sixth round of the NFL draft, how good are your NIL deals? How great of NIL deals are you actually?
It depends on how good your social media presence is.
That's fact. That's
true. Braden Galloway. Do you know who that is?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. The Clemson tight end, not a star on that team, has probably some of the best NIL stuff because he's great on TikTok. He's great on YouTube. And him and his girlfriend have put themselves in position to make money that way. It's not all about the brand deals. It's also about social media presence. And if you're just good like that, there's other ways to make money. And I feel like a lot more teams are going to be working to find brand deals for the team rather than just positional, specific things. And there's a lot of brands who just want to be in the college football sphere. And so, I mean, dude, we see Boost Mobile and all these companies giving FCS athletes brand deals. So yeah, absolutely. If you're a fifth or sixth round pick, you could get a brand deal, in my opinion. I mean, you look at some of the fifth and sixth round, fourth round picks that we've had recently. I absolutely think that's, the case. I mean, Kellen Mond wasn't drafted till really late. You don't think he would have had a brand deal?
He absolutely would have.
And so I think what's going to happen is it's going to help the coaches say, listen, you're a sixth round pick. You can stay, get your degree, get the money anyway. You can be the big man on campus and improve your draft stock. But it's going to be hard pressed to convince a first round pick to say, hey, listen, stick around for the $900,000 brand deal that you have and skip out on the $50 million contract that you could potentially sign.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to help the mid to late round guys who screw themselves by declaring too early to stay, because a lot of the players say they leave to help support their families. Well, if you're already making money, then that's a non-issue.
Yeah.
And so you can stay. And I also love the idea that Mike Leach put out that we talked about. Put a price on degree. Put a price on playing in the bowl game. Put a price on, and how long before we see incentives, Brandon, with these deals, where if you win a conference championship, you get a bit more money. If you win this bowl game, you get a bit more money from the company. And how soon does the brands of the bowl games start offering money to players to play in it? So, like, let's say the Leonard Fournette situation, he goes to the Outback Bowl. What if Outback gets on the phone and say, if you play, we'll pay you $100,000?
Yeah, that's
To
true.
increase the odds on the bowl game. So I think there's a lot of ways that they can increase the, I guess, better decisions for college athletes in terms of just leaving for the draft because you've got some sort of a grade. Like, if you're a 6th-round pick, let's be honest, and you have another year of eligibility, it's probably not in your best interest to go play on the practice squad and not make a team and be out of the league in 3 or 4 years.
I think situations are different. I don't think there's like a one like blanket
Well,
like
it's not a
blanket
one size
thing
fits
for,
all, but for the most part,
okay, that's fair.
Thaddeus Moss should have came back to school. Let's just be honest.
He should have, and I mean that's why he was my example. But
Yeah.
like Kellen Mond, like he was your example. He's gonna make the Vikings roster. Like that's just a fact.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, he's the backup quarterback, so for sure. But we both said that if he would have came back another year with the roster that A&M has, could he possibly? Because I mean, Brandon, behind Radler and Howell, is there a surefire number 3 quarterback?
No, I don't think so. And honestly, Zach, if he came back, and this is a different take, but if he came back, Texas A&M probably competes, and they might be in the conference championship this season. I'm not giving away our SEC preview quite yet, but he might be in the championship game if he comes back with this roster.
And so let's flip it over, because I know this was one of your concerns, and we'll be on opposite sides here. And so this opens the door for professional sports teams to help their local college teams attract recruits with paydays. Good or bad thing for college football?
This is bad, Zach. I don't understand how you could think this is good. I know you do, but I think it's really, really bad. And I honestly don't know why you're on this side, being an Auburn fan, because I don't know if there's any professional sports teams in Auburn that I just don't know of.
There's not.
Okay, so my thing is there are 32 NFL cities, well, 30 NFL cities in the United States, right? And so if we start seeing kids gravitate toward Los Angeles to play football, or Miami to play football, Houston, Chicago area, I mean, New York, for God's sakes, like who's going to New York City area to play college? No one is. So if we start seeing that, I just don't think it's good for college football. It may like initially increase a little bit of parity, and I don't think that this is like, oh, everyone's going to go to these towns right this second. That's not going to happen. But I do think that we're going to see a little bit of recruiting by some professional teams. I don't know, man. I personally, I would like to see recruiting. I do think that it has a lot to fix right now in college football, because I think recruiting's kind of broken. I think that we see the same 5 teams at the top of the recruiting boards every single year, and my team is one of those teams. So, like, if anyone's going to complain about it, it shouldn't be me, right? But I think it is broken. I think that it needs to be fixed, because I want parity in college football. I feel like if we have brand deals, and this isn't just restricted to professional sports teams, Zach, if we have brand deals that are recruiting players out of high school into college, then we're going to see a bigger problem than we currently have. You know, I don't think that's good. I think kids need to go play somewhere because it's where they want to play. That's where they feel comfortable. That's where they like the coaching staff. They like the guys who are on the roster. I don't think they need to go play for Miami because the Panthers are going to offer them an NIL deal. I think that's the wrong reason. I think we're going to see a lot more kids in the transfer portal year after year if we get these brand deals recruiting players.
Okay, I don't think it's good for college football. That's not the side I'm taking. I just think you're overthinking it. I don't think that's going to be.
I'm an easy person. I get it.
I don't think that's the like. Okay, so so what I think is going to happen is the NCAA and NFL are going to agree that no NFL team can
Yeah.
pay a player because of tampering, and that's an NFL issue. So we won't even go there. But what's really the difference from a brand deal of Nike to a brand deal of the Florida Panthers?
Uh, what do you mean? What
Like, I mean,
specifically?
is there any fundamental difference? Like if you were a kid, would just being able to be sponsored by a professional team be more enticing than a brand deal of any other company?
I don't think it's more enticing. And as a matter of fact, I think a Nike brand deal is a lot better. But
Facts.
the difference here is that the Florida Panthers are in one location where they could be like, if you come here, you get this brand deal. If you don't, too bad.
But who cares? Like that doesn't. So like what I'm trying to say is like not like who cares. Like, but is the Florida Panthers moving the needle for anybody here?
Oh no, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And what I mean, yeah, it'd be great if you could be sponsored by the Houston Rockets, but who cares? As long as I'm getting paid and another company's paying me, I don't care. Like
Yeah.
like I don't feel like because you have a professional team, because what's going to happen is you're already going to have teams who have connections due to alumni, due to sponsor. LSU's going to have a connection with Nike because they're a Nike program, while an Auburn's going to have a connection with Under Armour due to being an Under Armour program, and same for like Maryland with Adidas. It's just going to be like that, and what I'm scared is going to happen is what's going to happen is you're going to try to be the NCAA now, or you're trying to monitor too much, you stretch yourself too thin, and then what? We're back at square one where everyone's getting yelled at. Like, because what's going to happen is how can you tell Phil Knight that he can't recruit for his school?
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
And with the Nike, and how are you going to tell Tim Cook at Auburn that he can't start offering free iPhones to players and an Apple deal?
Yeah. Fair.
Or anyone else. So like what I'm worried about is like, of course the brand deals are going to be local because all brand deals are local. Like Milo Sweet Tea can't go sponsor a kid from Northwestern. Like, of course that's going to be just a Bo Nix and Malachi Moore, sponsorship. It's like my argument is it's already going to be regional. So if you try to monitor it, man, like who can sponsor who then? Like, are you going to force a company who doesn't like? I'm trying to think of a restaurant like Whataburger. You got to sponsor a kid from Maine where there's not even a Whataburger in the state. Like, how do you force someone's hand, and how would you monitor that?
Right. Right. I mean, that's a fact. You wouldn't be able to.
And I just don't think I get it. It is sports and everything like that. I just don't think, because I think the NFL is going to be off the table. I don't think the NBA is going to get involved because there's no NBA team that is going to their attendance isn't going to move the needle because of a college football player going there. Like the Hornets inviting Trevor Lawrence is not going to get more fans in the building. While he was
That might.
okay, but they already have NFL stars coming. They have, like, when you look at the NBA, they have people that are big. They got Drake going to Raptors games and everything. Like, they don't need the Hornets or whatever. I mean, well, they're
I know what you're
going to
saying.
call up an LSU player. Like, which LSU player is going to get more people to go see the Pelicans play?
Derek Stingley, he would, for sure.
No. I bet you they wouldn't. I bet nobody would even care. There'd be like a half second on Sports Center, like, oh look, Derek Stingley's there, and that'd be it. And then next week the attendance would go right back down.
I don't know. I think that let's throw this back a couple of years. If Joe Burrow was just on court side,
that's a generational talent. That's a generational talent. That's completely different. But well, yeah, like, so my argument isn't that is good for college ball. It's just how do you realistically monitor it, or like, enforce anything? Because once you start drawing too many lines, man, the paper gets a little messy, and it's really hard to kind of backtrack.
I think we have to face it though, Zach. I think there will be lines drawn, and it's going to be interesting to see where they're drawn. Like
we need a commissioner. That's why we need a commissioner, because
I know I've been trying to say this. Man.
Oh man.
So yeah, I mean that. I don't know. I just think there will be lines drawn. You mentioned it in your own argument. The NFL and the NCAA are definitely going to have an agreement that you cannot sponsor a player. I don't know where the line stops being drawn. I saw another article, and we don't have to get into it. I just want to mention real quick that Ohio State's allowing players to use their likeness to profit. I feel like there's going to be a line drawn there to where, you can't do that like too overtly. Like you can't, I don't know. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Who knows? But I think there will be lines drawn.
You play for the team. Like that's being like Tom Brady can't use a Buccaneers logo.
I mean, Eli Manning couldn't use a Giants logo. He couldn't. That's a fact. He could not.
I know, but that's a dumb thing. Like what would come on, bro? Like that's just being ridiculous. Like what would your team be?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I understand what you're saying. I'm
because
not
like I get the idea of they can't take the logo and go sell their own merchandise with the logo. I get that. I get why you wouldn't want that to happen. But if they want to post on social media of them in Ohio State gear with like an Ohio State brand thing at the bottom, come on, man. Like,
that's what I'm saying. But that's exactly why there needs to be lines drawn, Zach. Because yes, you can go on social media and do this. No, you cannot go sell one of our helmets.
Brand Ohio State merch.
Yeah, you can't go sell like you can't sell an Ohio State flag that you stole from the band. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't. Yeah. So there has to be lines drawn at some point. Right now we're in the Wild West and it's kind of fun, but I think the fun's going to run out here in a few seasons. I don't know. It's just me.
Absolutely. So, guys, comment below. What are your thoughts on the De'Aaron King signing with the NHL team for his NIL deal? And what do you think the future of the NIL is in college football? Comment your opinions on some of the topics we debated tonight. But, guys, make sure to subscribe. We're almost to 700. That's our next T-shirt giveaway. So get us 700. Picking 5 more y'all to get them T-shirts out. The 200 and the 300 and the 500 people should be getting their shirts. They're coming. Yeah, B-Dub's got them all on the way out there. So y'all stay tuned and send us pictures of y'all in the shirts, man, and we'll post them on. I got some pictures from our 100 winners that we got to put up, man. But subscribe now, man. We had Tyler Hudson on the show yesterday. That's our guy from Central Arkansas. Baller, absolute baller. And he let y'all know that he was a baller, man. We only allow ballers on the show. Today, we got DeJuan Cooper from South Dakota linebacker. And tomorrow we got Kyan Howard from North Carolina A&T, one of the best HBCU players in the country. So big names only on the show, man. But, guys, we'll be back tomorrow with another 2-minute drill. And Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central, man, live streaming our ACC preview, man. We break down the players to watch, the games to watch, the top storylines, and give our official predictions for the ACC. So tune in Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. But, guys, for B-Dub, myself, and the Blue Bloods, we are out.